Yesterday I posted on Reddit, ask me anything. There's a ton of questions in here. I'm gonna answer as many as I can and hopefully give you guys some insights. Let's get into it. Reddit, we're in. I'm gonna make an avatar. Kinda looks like me, gym bro. I want a wearable blanket. Oh, I need to buy premium to get that. Okay, cool.
So the ones that are on top are the
uploaded. Yeah, understood. I understand how the internet works. Funny enough. Hey Davie, how much profit did you make from that 270 million in revenue? Keep killing it. You're an inspiration to many. Thank you so much. I get this question so much. People are so skeptical of what we're doing and just e-commerce as a whole. There's so many people screenshotting Shopify stores, and I think that you should be skeptical when you see them. Our businesses range, our brands range from profitability. So some of them are at 10% profitability, some of them are at 30% profitability. This is fluctuating heavily month to month, and especially with the supply chain crisis, it can come up and down. The truth is you don't want your net profit margin too high because that means you're probably not spending enough on ads. You want to make sure that your gross margin of your product is as high as possible, but you're wanting to spend lots on ads to grow your brand really quickly, especially if you know that there is some level of word of mouth virality, customer retention, those kind of things. So making sure that your default alive, which means that you are profitable and your cash flow is profitable, is the main thing, because then you don't need to rely on funding if anything goes downwards, but then also making sure that you're maximizing revenue as well. It's a fine line, and it's definitely something that you should work with your finance team and just keep asking people about as you're doing. Naturally, I need to be somewhat sensitive about our information for competitive reasons. Max Simmons asks, hi Davie, would you be able to do Facebook ads course that is much more in-depth than your current 2 videos? Yes, Max, I definitely can. The truth is though that Facebook ads does not need to be that complicated. Very, very basic strategies as well. In the Lemon Scrub series, providing that the product actually sells, it will give us an opportunity to go deeper into the ad account. The reason why I haven't done this is my YouTube is actually designed for beginners at this stage because we're just trying to hit as wider audience and get everyone on the journey as quickly as possible. That being said, there are so many things that I really want to get into with Facebook ads, talking about like Zapier integration or attribution tools, talking about bid caps, CBO. Main thing that you should be focusing on is not these, lots of hacky stuff. Focus really on either your creative testing, and your landing page testing. Do some CRO, do some advertorials, those kind of things. Definitely taking the feedback on board, and I'm excited to do that more advanced video for you. Hi Davie, Sherlock Bones, AMA when? He doesn't have much to say. He's a bit of a psycho at the moment, actually. They were trying to film that awards night the other night down the beach, and he was just like running laps around me, just sprinting around me, and the guy was like, never work with children or animals. The videographer, I was like, I promise you, he's not usually this crazy. G'day Davie, how did you scale your order quantities so quickly without using extra cash from outside the business? I've ordered 300 units, my first order, and will have to sell most of them to make the next order of 500 units. But I'll be sold out for maybe 6 weeks waiting for my next batch to arrive. This is so common. So first, you might want to use pre-sale, okay? So that will give you that buffer time. Let's say shipping time is 4 weeks. You're selling it before it's left your supplier. This is great to shorten those lead times down, but it does come with other risks. There's a shipment delay and then you get lots of negative reviews or something like that. So make sure that you're communicating very clearly to your customer, and you're also giving yourself enough buffer time in those things because things do go wrong. The second thing is supplier terms. If you are, scaling up, you should be able to find a supplier that is willing to give you some level of terms. It is in their best interest for you to be able to sell the product. You can get a supplier contract involved that guarantees that you'll pay maybe 10% upfront and then the remaining 90 or 80% 60 days after it's delivered. These are the terms that big brands can get, but I have heard of some smaller brands being able to convince their suppliers from this. It's all about building those relationships and trust, showing that you're a professional. The other method is there's lots of new ways to finance stock. So Shopify has their own way of financing now, where providing you've got enough sales coming through, they'll lend you the money. Because there's so many of them, you can actually start getting some really competitive rates. Just make sure that you're literate in what fees they're charging. What happens if you can't repay it, all of those kind of things, and then they should be able to finance your growth. The final method is an investor, okay? If you're getting great ROAS, there will be people that understand ROAS that will invest in you. Build a little bit of a pitch deck, go onto LinkedIn, go onto communities, reach out to people on Twitter, ask for investment, give them good terms, get a good strategic investor in place, and they'll help finance your growth. Miller Lite Delight. Do you still like ramen noodles? Have we posted the like ramen noodles somewhere? I think it's the startup diet. You just gotta eat ramen until you're rich, I guess. Has H. More of a personal question here. I was fortunate enough to know pre-social media famous. I don't think social media is famous, but any males in his 20s with 10% of your success feels like they must let the world know something about it, but you stayed private about your success for so long. Yeah, I did not go public about my figures or anything until I was doing over $100 million revenue. The reason why, what I was telling myself is that it was competitive reasons, and that I knew that all the mass retailers, all of the drop shippers, everything, as soon as they saw my financials, they would come in and knock off my products, which since coming out, it has just exploded. It is crazy. The other reason probably is that I was just completely camera shy. I didn't want to talk to anyone about it. I think I grew past that and wanted to start giving back. You should always be skeptical of people that are selling you a course or something like that, talking about their success that they've previously had doing e-commerce. Because frankly, if you're focusing that much in the early stages on talking about the brand, then you are neglecting certain things. You know, I had a big leadership team. I have an amazing team of people suddenly working on all of our brands. So they're in really good hands, which allows me to step back a little bit and do this kind of stuff. Year 1, 2, 3, you just need to be head down on the brands themselves. Yeah, that's my advice there. Thanks for the question, and yeah, good luck. All right, some rapid fires. What can I do to find a winning product like yours? I've talked about this a lot. I'm gonna do a lot more videos on this. I'm building a piece of software as well that's gonna help you find all of the products as well. So I'm gonna leave this question, head back to my other YouTube videos for now. What is the biggest opportunity for an e-commerce business to capitalize on in the 0 to 1 million stage of growth? 0 to, let's say, 100,000. You're battling product market fit. So you're trying to figure out if the product's like, if it is, now you're just battling this kind of unit economics juggle where you're trying to make Facebook as profitable as possible. To do that, focus on content, focus on customer service, start building your metrics, making sure your return rate's not too high, lower your cost of goods, lower your cost of service, lower your cost of fulfilling the product as well, like your courier rate. The person that can spend more on advertising is going to win. So if you found this winning product that you're early with and other people are flocking to it, you need to be spending more than them on Facebook. Lowering costs is the best way to do that. And then getting your advertising just really efficient, making sure that you're getting good reviews as well, because those customers are gonna start coming back, repeat purchasing. Hey Davie, how do you deal with seasonality for the Oodie, especially in Australia where most times of the year it's too hot to rug up? It's feeling a bit like that today. Do you turn off ad campaigns at the warmer months of regions when you're retargeting? We have stores everywhere. We have UK, EU, US, Canada. We're a global brand, which really helps with that seasonality hedge. We do not turn off ads, but we do have to scale them back. We're constantly measuring ROAS on a daily basis. So naturally the seasonality curve, you will have a natural curve. That curve is really interesting in the UK because you're obviously going to hit Christmas at peak winter period. So it's kind of this really steep curve. Whereas in Australia, you're going to have that Black Friday period, which is a bit of a sales bump. So it's kind of like June, it's like peaks, and then it comes down, and then there's this little trough where it's like kind of tries to come back up, but because it's summer, it doesn't. So you've got to understand those seasonality curves. They're pretty common across seasonal businesses. Would you suggest to stay away from the US market when starting out? Asking because it looks way more competitive and many Facebook ads get suspended when they start targeting the US. The EU has VAT implications and it looks quite complicated for a beginner as well. I'm in South America, and while there is potential, there are challenges related to economy and logistics. This is a really, really good question. I personally like Australia. I like Australia and I like the UK when I first start the business. And this is just because when I find trends, that's where they are in the trend lifespan. You know, typically you need to understand market positioning and market timing is the most important thing within starting a business. Is the trend saturated? If the trend has been in South America, or let's say the United States for 5 years, but hasn't actually been launched in Australia, there is opportunity there, providing the market adoption and there is some level of awareness. Facebook is an auction, it's gonna be competitive. So finding those little pockets in Facebook, those untapped markets is amazing. That is literally what I'm building my software for, to try to find that competitive edge. What is your process for building a team of good freelancers to help you in the startup process until you can afford to hire a full-time team? Okay, there's 4 questions in this first question. How do you ensure that your freelancers communicate the brand's image and voice the way you have intended, e.g. copywriting, content creation, customer service? Okay, let's start there. We're talking about 2 things there. We're talking, I guess, about accountability, and we're also talking about brand consistency and maybe quality control. So in terms of accountability, using Upwork, we obviously have tracking for those VAs. We also can use external tools like Hubstaff to track the user behavior. One accountability measure and alignment measure that I love to use in those early stages when you're just starting out with VAs is the daily stand-up. So you're gonna start with a 15-minute huddle in the morning. What are you working on? What did you work on yesterday? What are your main challenges? In terms of hiring VAs, I think that's the most challenging time. And the truth is that it's very hit and miss, even for the people that are the best at it. You can use processes like video interviews to really weed out the large amount of applicants that you're gonna get. You can use things like type tests if it's, let's say, a customer service, to check the speed of their typing and their English quality. It's all those kind of things that can really help go through a large amount of applicants and find the one that's right for your business. Biggest misconceptions around virtual assistants and hiring remotely is that they are just robots. They are people too, on the other side of the computer. If anything, they need more love and attention than any other employee because they're not sitting next to you, they don't know you. So therefore you need to actually really try to communicate extra to them, get them enthusiastic and involved. In terms of the copywriting and maintaining the brand quality, resources like your brand book is gonna become really, really important. You could even try questioning them after they've read the brand book. How would you answer this to maintain your brand? We've started implementing the Lean Startup innovation principles, which are brilliant. How do you strive for innovation and testing in your new business in all aspects? Let's say we're trying to increase the referral rate of our product by adding an element of branding to the packaging. Maybe it's a QR code for virality or something like that. First, need to set up a team. We need to set up a structure. So who is leading the project? You need certain capabilities within that product team. So you need the person that is going to design the product. You need the person that is going to test the product when it comes in. The marketing person reading the data, like a data analytics person. These people can be anyone in your organization that has the skills and capabilities to figure this stuff out. Then you just want to have a monthly meeting, okay, where everyone updates and creates action items for that. Create the hypothesis of what you're trying to achieve. In this case, it's like referral rates or amount of people that purchase after scanning this QR code in the product, and then just meet frequently to get that happening. You can use project tools like monday.com to track that and keep notes and keep everyone accountable. The other system that I will recommend is just an OKR system. Most of the time we are just constantly trying to do iterative growth. Whether that growth is through content or landing pages or any product, we're just constantly trying to improve things above the baseline. It really is a very consistent process, and that's why I do recommend OKRs just generally for your organization. Which YouTube video was your favorite to film and why? It's a good one. Meet Your Team video was pretty fun. We all had mimosas and it was a good laugh. But I think my favorite video to watch was actually the throwback one where we went through the footage from school and just kind of walked through my life. I think that was really interesting to watch retrospectively and understand what I'm doing. I guess the other one is this how to build a brand series. We're just getting so much positive feedback, people changing their lives. So all 3. That's 90% of my videos, but that's okay. Would you drop me 1,000 for my dumbass cat? No, I'm a dog man. If you can go back in time and change one thing, what would you change? I think the main thing that I would change is probably just my approach and just my general mindset about life. I think that, I was so hell-bent on just becoming successful and making as much money as possible, and not only missed a lot of opportunities, but also I probably wasn't as happy and enjoyed life as much as I actually could have. Young males especially putting so much pressure on themselves to look good, to be successful, to be alpha, is just it just causes a lot of problems. If I could change one thing, it would be my mentality a bit around that and just trying to find peace rather than, you know, just trying to be something that I didn't need to be. If you want me to answer any more questions, head to Reddit and ask them. If this video does well, like and subscribe, and you know, we'll do it again. I'm happy to answer any questions. I like answering the challenging ones for people. Sometimes I do feel like maybe we don't go into enough detail with our YouTube for the advanced viewers, so please make sure you leave a question and like and subscribe. Thanks.